Welcome, football fans, to Tim Reynolds Show's live Week 1 picks for the 2025 NFL season. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have made it after a long offseason. The first week of the 2025 NFL season is upon us. And ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be an incredible and unbelievable Week 1 of the 2025 NFL season. Football's back, baby! Let's go! You know what time it is. It's Tim Reynolds Show! And oh man, we got to go over all the Week 1 games that will be happening coming up here on Week 1. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday here or Thursday here. We got Thursday Night Football coming up here first. So that's the first game we're going to go over here, but we're going to wait, let a couple more people get in the chat. Shout out to Alfie, first brother in the chat today. What's going on, guys? Let's get everything set up here. We'll wait a few more minutes for some people to hop on before we get started. Now, we're going to cover every single game this upcoming week. Now, I will be putting out a video starting next week of my picks on my video section here on my YouTube channel. But hey, I figured why not? We got Thursday Night Football coming up here today. I still got 2 more divisions to cover up. Those will be posted tomorrow. And guys, so I figured tonight, let's get things kicked off and get our picks going. What's going on, Lighthouse Keeper? Bolt up. What's up, guys? All right, so everything getting loaded up here. Thank you guys for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Please don't forget to make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And oh, I cannot believe it. It's right. It's here, and it feels so good. Football is back, baby, and we get things kicked off with Thursday Night Football. And guys, we've got a huge primetime matchup to get us started here in Week 1. But man, to be honest with you guys, I think we've had one of the most anticipated Week 1s that I've ever been a part of since I started watching football. I'm really excited to see a lot of teams have opportunities this upcoming year in 2025. I think we're going to see a lot of amazing football, and I'm really interested to see who's going to be the bad teams and who's going to be the great teams this upcoming year, who can live up to expectations and who won't live up to expectations. You know what I'm saying? But man, I cannot believe it. Thursday Night Football is here tonight, and we have NFL football back, baby, after a long off season. And guys, we'll get things kick-started here on Tim Reynolds Show with our Week 1 selections. We got primetime football, Thursday Night Football, where we will see an NFC East divisional matchup where we have the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, will be taking on a very different Dallas Cowboys squad that comes in to Philadelphia. And oh man, you know, Lincoln Financial Field is going to be popping as we see the Philadelphia Eagles fans get to watch the banner raised after winning the Super Bowl last year against the Kansas City Chiefs. And this Eagles team doesn't look a lot different than that Super Bowl squad from a year ago. I'm really excited to see this Eagles team against a Dallas Cowboys team that will be without All-Pro pass rusher Micah Parsons. Guys, I cannot believe this. Parsons is now a Packer, and this is unbelievable. And now we'll see a completely revamped defense for the Dallas Cowboys, especially after how bad they were a year ago. And on offense, we should see quarterback Dak Prescott be able to throw the ball around in this offense because, hey, that's what he's going to have to do if the Dallas Cowboys want to be competitive and in this matchup here on Thursday Night Football against the Super Bowl champion and the NFC East division champion, Philadelphia Eagles. All right, guys, so going over the matchups here, looking at this game here, I'm really excited for this. I'm excited to see the wide receiver matchup versus the secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, with George Pickens now joining the Dallas Cowboys alongside CeeDee Lamb. I think that this is going to be a high-powered passing offense as long as quarterback Dak Prescott can stay healthy. But they're going up against one one of the best secondaries in football. As a matter of fact, the Philadelphia Eagles were the best secondary in football a year ago, and now all this young talent in that secondary will be a big matchup for quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. So look out for that matchup here in this one when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys offense against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Now let's talk about this Eagles offense, guys. You know one thing they're going to do, and that's run the football. But we've seen a lot of additions to the wide receiver room for this Philadelphia Eagles squad, so I'm really excited to see what quarterback Jalen Hurts will do this upcoming season, because he didn't throw the ball for a lot of yards last season, and I know a lot of teams are going to be trying to take away the run and take away the playmaking ability of the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, running back Saquon Barkley, who's an MVP candidate once again this upcoming season. So I wonder if we'll see Jalen Hurts throw the ball around a little bit more. Maybe we could see an over on his passing yards there on some of those betting sites, but man, it's going to be a fantastic game. But I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup with that offensive line versus the now new defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. Without all-pro pass rusher Micah Parsons, I'm really excited to see that matchup versus this all-pro Philadelphia Eagles offensive line that is probably, heck, I gotta say it is the best offensive line in football. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Dallas Cowboys defensive line matches up here with this Philadelphia Eagles O-line. And guys, without all-pro pass rusher Micah Parsons, we'll have to see who steps up as far as premier pass rushers for the Dallas Cowboys, especially in this week one game and this primetime matchup. We're definitely going to be focused on that. So guys, looking at some of the key people in the injury report here, looks like for the Philadelphia Eagles, they will be without linebacker Dean, who's still on the PUP list here, so look out for that. And that's probably the only few injuries to know out of both teams here. I think Philadelphia is favored by a lot here in this one. They come in, it looks like, as an 8.5-point favorite. Now, if you're betting on this game, that's a lot of points, and I think Dallas could keep it close, but I think this offense for the Philadelphia Eagles is still underrated, and they're going to show that they're going to run all over this Dallas Cowboys team, if you ask me. So guys, looking at this matchup here on Tim Reynolds Show, I'm rolling with the Philadelphia Eagles to get the win tonight over the Dallas Cowboys, and I think we're going to have trouble in Jerry World this upcoming year. If we can't see this defense put pressure on the quarterback here with Jalen Hurts, there's going to be a lot of questions, man. You know what I mean? So, hey, rolling with the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you guys for hanging out here in the chat on Tim Reynolds Show for my Week 1 NFL picks. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you, chat. Man, we're popping off in here, dude. Thank you guys so much. Shout out if you guys have any NFL questions. We're going through our Week 1 matchups. Just pick the Philadelphia Eagles as my favorite in tonight's matchup for Thursday Night Football. So let's go in tomorrow, guys, where we've got another game in Brazil. That's right, guys. And for the first time ever, we will see a NFL game free on YouTube. Guys, I cannot believe this. Shout out to YouTube. And guys, we will see the Kansas City Chiefs go one-on-one with their AFC West division foes, the Los Angeles Chargers. And guys, an interesting matchup here in this squad. I think for the Kansas City Chiefs is an underrated squad once again, and look out for them. They're legit Super Bowl contenders. But what kind of a team will this Chargers team be? Can quarterback Justin Herbert take another step forward in his progression to being a better quarterback, especially in the playoffs, where he's come up short so many times now? And I wonder if this defense will be just as good as we seen a year ago. Remember, this hardball defense was the #1 scoring defense in the NFL, so high expectations coming into this year for the Los Angeles Chargers, and respectively so. So going into this matchup, guys, what I'm looking for as far as a matchup here, I'm looking at the wide receiving core for the Chargers versus the secondary of the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Why? Well, the secondary is a strong point for this Kansas City Chiefs squad, and their defense is going to be legit this year. I really do think so. But the wide receiving core has now veteran wide receiver Keenan Allen returning to the Chargers franchise. I think that's going to be a big piece for them, but it's going to be really interesting to see how him and Lad McConkey go up this against one of the top secondaries in the league. So I'm looking at that matchup there between the Chargers offense and the Kansas City Chiefs defense. But looking at the other end there, I really do think the Chiefs need to establish the run game here, and if they're able to control the clock and not have Patrick Mahomes having to throw the ball a whole lot, I think that's going to be the big part of this game for Kansas City Chiefs offense, and that just means that we have to see the Chargers Chargers defense try to get pressure on the quarterback and also stuff the run as best as they can, force Patrick Mahomes to have to throw the ball around because we know what happens when Mahomes is under duress. We've seen it in the Super Bowl. So we'll see how the Chargers play in this matchup. Going into this one, looks like the Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. Looking at the injury reports here, nothing big to note between these two squads. I am focused on what the offensive line play is going to look like for the Kansas City Chiefs in this game, especially going up against a premier pass rusher in Khalil Mack. So we'll have to see what's going on with that. All right. And here we go, guys. The first matchup for Sunday, you know what we going over. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Atlanta Falcons. And Tampa Bay comes in as only a 1.5-point favorite. And I've actually seen this line change a lot, where actually the Falcons could be favored this upcoming weekend. And I think that has more to do with the injury report than anything else. But hey, there's also some injuries coming up here for this Atlanta Falcons squad that nobody's talking about. They're going to be without one of their starting offensive linemen for the whole year due to an injury, and they also could be without one of their premier wide receivers in Darnell Mooney, who's a game-time decision coming up for this matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, for the Buccaneers, they're going to be without wide receiver Chris Godwin and more than likely without offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs. But the good part is that Godwin was listed as doubtful, but Wirfs was actually listed as questionable, so something to keep an eye out here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also, it looks like defensive tackle and defensive captain Vita Vea is having an injury that he's dealing with right now, so I wonder what this is going to mean for him going into this matchup. And guys, looking at this squad, I think what the big matchup's going to be for the Buccaneers offense against this Atlanta Falcons defense is this newly revamped pass rush, especially with what the Atlanta Falcons were able to do in the NFL draft, drafting 2 premier pass rushers in the first round. I wonder if we're going to see some improvement on that pass rush for the Atlanta Falcons. So that's going to be my big matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, is that this offensive line play has got to be stellar, especially if we're going to be without all-pro left tackle Tristan Wirfs. We got to make sure we give Baker Mayfield enough time in the pocket to distribute the ball to all of his playmaking wide receivers. And a good note, it looks like tight end Kate Otten will be able to play in this matchup after he fully practiced over the last couple of days for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm really looking at that matchup between the Buccaneers O-line and the pass rush for the Atlanta Falcons here in this matchup. Now, looking at the Falcons offense, it's just going to come down to what quarterback Michael Penix is going to be able to do. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be able to do in this offense. I really do think Brian Robinson is going to be one of these running backs that they're going to be able to feed, and he's going to get his numbers. But man, Kyle Pitts, the tight end, is going to have to step up a little bit here, and we're going to finally find out if Michael Penix Jr. is a legit starting quarterback in this NFL or not. So that's going to be the big matchup, is the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons going up against a Todd Bowles defense. And this defense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers looks like they're going to be a well-improved squad from a year ago, especially in that secondary, with a lot of young pieces in that secondary. But I'm looking at pass rusher Hassan Reddick to be a big impact player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that defense this upcoming season, especially in this game against the Atlanta Falcons. So guys, going to my picks here, you know I'm rolling with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby. I think that the Buccaneers are looking underrated heading into this game, and there's not a lot of people picking the Bucs in this division, which I'm a little surprised by. It's almost split down the middle with people going with the Falcons or the Buccaneers as far as NFC South Division champions. So we're going to find out right away which one of these teams are ready for this upcoming week in the week 1 of the NFL season here in 2025. And you know I'm rolling with my pick here on Tim Reynolds Show. I'm picking my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go, Tampa Bay. Yeah. All right, guys. Buccaneers. Go Bucks. All right, guys, so our next matchup we're going to talk about here, we got the Miami Dolphins going one-on-one with the Indianapolis Colts. And believe it or not, I'm even shocked by this. The Colts are 1.5-point favorites? What the heck? Didn't even see this coming, but I guess with all the injuries on that Miami Dolphins defense, especially in the secondary, I guess they're expecting even this Colts offense to be able to put up some numbers against the Miami Dolphins. But I'm not so sure about that. So we'll look at this matchup here. It is in Lucas Oil Stadium there in Indianapolis, and they're split right down the middle here. This is going to be a very even matchup. Looking at some of the injury reports here, looks like tight end Darren Waller could be questionable, and also wide receiver Tyreek Hill. So a couple of injuries there to note to keep an eye out for the Miami Dolphins. Tyler Goodson, the running back for the Indianapolis Colts, is questionable, but that's really the only key injury here for the Colts. Now, going into this matchup, guys, I think the big matchup is going to be the rushing attack of the Indianapolis Colts against this Miami Dolphins defense. Now, I wonder, people will probably say, well, Tim, why didn't you go with Daniel Jones against the secondary? I got to be honest with you guys. I don't think I trust Daniel Jones even against this questionable secondary of the Miami Dolphins. I think it's going to come down to the running game. And if they're able to run the ball very, very well with Jonathan Taylor, then I think this Colts team has a chance to really win this matchup. But going over to the other side, I think this Miami Dolphins offense is going to be stellar, especially in the passing game. They just got to give Tua enough protection there with the offensive line. And hopefully that means that Tua will get more time to throw the ball. And if those wide receivers can stay healthy this season, well, this Miami Dolphins offense is going to be legit. So I'm really looking forward to this matchup there for the Dolphins going up against the secondary of the Indianapolis Colts, who's got some questions back there on the back end of their defense. And I'm not sure exactly how well this defense is going to play or how consistent this offense is going to play for the Indianapolis Colts. So going into my pick here, guys, I'm rolling with the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to go with the upset here. I think the Dolphins have a more high-powered offense than the Colts do. So that's why I'm rolling with the Dolphins, man. I think they're going to get the victory here, and we're going to see the Dolphins as one of these underrated teams throughout the year that I think with their offense, they're going to be in most games this year, but their defense is the big question mark. So we'll just have to see how well this Dolphin squad looks throughout the 2025 NFL season. And going up next, guys, we got the Carolina Panthers going one-on-one with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is an interesting matchup where we see Jacksonville comes in as a 3.5-point favorite in this one. So looking at this matchup here and looking at the injuries that we could be looking at here, we see for the Panthers, defensive end Hashan Robinson is questionable, and so is guard Robert Hunt and guard Damian Lewis. Looks like they're having some trouble with health along that offensive line, so something to keep an eye out for the Panthers here. They may struggle in pass protection or being able to run the football, and not too many injuries of note for the Jacksonville Jaguars here. What I'm really excited to see is Travis Hunter in this offense and playing defense for the Jacksonville Jaguars in this upcoming game. But looking at the matchup here, I think it's really going to come down to the defensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against the O-line of the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are beat up on their offensive line right now with all these injuries. So if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars defense, you got to take advantage of this, and hopefully we'll see the Jaguars pass rush be able to get in that backfield and get the victory here. We see the Jaguars are favorite, obviously, in this matchup here, so I'm looking at that matchup. Now, as far as the defense for Carolina, I think their secondary needs to lock down this passing game because we know Trevor Lawrence hasn't proven to be a top 15 passer in this league, so they're going to have to force him to run, or I should say throw the football in tight windows, and if they're able to get a couple of turnovers there in the secondary for Carolina's defense, I think this is going to be huge for them, and that's going to be the big matchup there as far as the Carolina defense versus the Jacksonville Jaguar offense. So guys, my pick here in this matchup with the Carolina Panthers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm rolling with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm excited to see what new head coach Liam Cohen does with this offense, but I think this offense is going to be dynamic, and we'll see how much points they can put on this Carolina Panthers defense that I think is going to struggle a little bit, especially stopping people in the run game this upcoming season. All right, guys, going over our next matchup here on Tim Reynolds Show. Thank you guys for hanging out here in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You guys are popping off in the chat. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Let's see if we get caught up here a little bit. Agree, Eagles are going to win. We got Bucks take home the dub. Thank you, Lighthouse Keeper. What's up, Gary? What's up, Alfie? Let's go intensify. Hell yeah. Can Travis shut down McMillan? I don't know. We got to wait to see how McMillan's going to do. I'm really excited to see that. Look at that EGC edit says McMillan going for 200 yards. Hey, we could see that. He's definitely the number one target this upcoming year for the Panthers. So going on to our next matchup, guys, a very intriguing one. We got the Cincinnati Bengals going one-on-one with the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns have the home field advantage, but Cincinnati comes in as a 5.5-point favorite in this matchup, and I'm kind of surprised they're not a little bit more favored, but looking at this matchup here right now, guys, as we go over some injuries to pay attention to here for both teams, we see the Cleveland Browns come in with a couple of injuries on defense. Myles Garrett, the defensive end, is questionable, but he's more likely to play. Also, defensive tackle Mike Hall Jr. and all-pro cornerback Denzel Ward is also questionable for this matchup. So already, Cleveland's coming in a little banged up to start the season. I'm really excited to see how Trey Henderson comes in and plays for the Cincinnati Bengals defense because, man, I'm not expecting a lot from this Bengals defense, man. I think they're going to struggle all year long, just like we've seen them last year. So going into this matchup, that's what I'm saying, man, is going to be the defense here for the Cincinnati Bengals and whether or not they're going to be able to stop people in the passing game. This upcoming game, you're expecting Joe Flacco to throw the ball around a lot. That's what I think is going to happen for Cleveland to have a chance to win this game. I don't think Cleveland's run game is going to be that strong this year. I don't trust Ford in the backfield, although they do have a rookie in Dylan Sampson out of the University of Tennessee that I do like and could be a breakout player for the Cleveland Browns this upcoming year. But I think Cleveland's going to struggle to run the ball this season, which means Joe Flacco is going to be throwing the ball a lot, slinging it. So I think watch out for this matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals secondary versus Joe Flacco throwing the ball around in this Cleveland Browns passing offense. Now, looking at the Cincinnati Bengal offense, they are going to need to establish the run themselves. We know Joe Burrow is going to be able to throw the ball all around, especially with this secondary missing all-pro cornerback Denzel Ward if he's not able to go because he's questionable heading into this matchup. So we know Joe Burrow is going to be able to throw the ball around. So if they can establish the run, the Cincinnati Bengal offense is going to be able to be more balanced, and they should be able to get the victory here pretty easily over the Cleveland Browns. And that leads to my pick, guys, for Tim Reynolds Show. I'm rolling with the Cincinnati Bengals in this matchup. I think the Bengals are just too high-powered of an offense, and I don't trust the defense of the Cleveland Browns here, especially with all the question marks and injuries they have heading into this matchup. So we'll have to see what happens here because, hey, I just don't think Cleveland's going to be able to keep up to the scoring that we'll see from Cincinnati, who should average probably around 30, 31 points per game this year with how high-powered this offense could be for Cincinnati. But we'll have to see what happens, though, man. Hey, good luck to Cleveland this year. I think it's going to be a rough, bumpy road for Cleveland, and, hey, Cincinnati could be a legit contender in the AFC, but we'll have to see what happens. Hey, I'm rooting for the underdogs though, man. So go Cleveland. All right, guys. So going up next, we got the Las Vegas Raiders going one-on-one with the New England Patriots, and Pete Carroll goes back to his old stomping grounds. That's right, Pete Carroll was the coach for the New England Patriots at some point in his coaching career, but now the Super Bowl winning coach comes from Seattle now to the Las Vegas Raiders after being off a year. Pete Carroll will come in as the oldest head coach ever in the NFL when he starts this season with the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going up against the New England Patriots, and New England has a 2.5 point favorite in this matchup, but I'm looking at head coach Mike Vrabel and how well he's going to be able to change the culture here in this franchise. I think it's going to be a big, big deal. Believe it or not, he's going to have a huge impact on the Patriots this upcoming season, who are going to probably surprise a lot of people, in my opinion. Looking at some of the questionable injuries heading into this matchup, we see for the Patriots, Christian Gonzalez, one of their top cornerbacks, is questionable in this matchup, and so is Charles Woods, another corner. So look out for that secondary that could be a little banged up for the New England Patriots. Now, not a lot of injuries to note for the Las Vegas Raiders. They will be without their quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, who unfortunately had a broken hand injury, I believe it was, and he's going to be out about probably 6 to 8 weeks. So we'll see who the backup quarterback's going to be for the Raiders. But going into this matchup, I'm actually surprised New England's favored. This has got to be the Mike Vrabel effect, because I think the key matchup in this one is going to be quarterback Drake May going up against this new defense for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm really interested to see how much more improved this defense could get for the Raiders, especially because I'm expecting a big season from pass rusher Max Crosby, so look out for him. But guys, my matchup for the Raiders offense versus the New England Patriots defense, I'm just going to see how Ashton Genty is really played in this offense. I think he could see a big workload in this offense, and you know, with quarterback Geno Smith, you're going to have good competitive quarterback play from him, and they could have a good matchup here, against this New England Patriots defense that has a lot of new faces. Now, these guys could play very well together. I know head coach Mike Vrabel is more of a defensive guy anyways, but these guys have got to mesh. And if they don't mesh right away, well, maybe this is the week that the Las Vegas Raiders can catch New England slipping a little bit, huh? So looking at this matchup, guys, I think I'm going to roll with the upset here on Tim Reynolds Show. I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders over the New England Patriots here, getting the upset on the road. I think this is going to be a big win for Pete Carroll, and I think quarterback Geno Smith is going to shock a lot of people this year. Look for quarterback Geno Smith to be like top 10, maybe even top 5 in passing yards this upcoming year. He's going to be a big impact player for them, especially with Ashton Genty in the backfield. Whew, that's right. Hey, a little gutsy, I get it, I know, but hey, I got to roll with the Raiders in this matchup, guys. All right, so we're almost about halfway through. Thank you guys for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And guys, coming up next, we got the Arizona Cardinals going one-on-one with the New Orleans Saints. And guys, the Cardinals come in as a 6.5-point favorite, and I wonder how Arizona is going to look this season. We could see a whole different squad than what we've seen from a year ago. This team's got a lot of potential, and they're going up against a New Orleans Saints team that, let's just say, he's on a rebuild. Yeah, I'm not expecting a lot of things from this Saints squad, man. I think it's going to be a rough season with rookie head coach Kellen Moore. The offense, I think, is going to struggle to put up points. I think the defense will be competitive for the Saints, but, man, I think it's going to be a tough year for the Saints this year, guys. Now, looking at the Arizona Cardinals, they could be a double-digit win team, but I could also see them losing double-digit games because there's not enough consistency, especially with quarterback Kyler Murray. They've got to get wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. more involved in the Cardinals offense if they want to be competitive. James Conner, to me, is still one of the most underrated running backs in the NFL. I still think the running game is going to be pretty decent for Arizona. It's just going to come down to what quarterback Kyler Murray is able to do in this offense. So that's going to be the key matchup. Kyler Murray going up against this stout Saints defense that should be a competitive one. But guys, we all know this Saints offense doesn't look like it's going to be very high-powered at all. I look for Alvin Kamara to get a lot of work in this offense because he's about the only playmaker they got, really. Although they've got a couple of good wide receivers, but we got to wait to see if they stay healthy and who's going to play quarterback. Are they going to have consistent quarterback play from Mr. Rattler? Are they going to put the rookie in after a couple of weeks? I'm not sure. I just don't see them winning a lot of games this year. So, guys, Tim Reynolds Show's got to roll with the Arizona Cardinals in this matchup. I think they're going to get a big victory here, and I might even take the over on the points here as far as 6.5 if it was me. All right, guys, so going on to our next matchup, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers going one-on-one with the New York Jets. And oh my goodness, Aaron Rodgers returns to New York, where he will face his former team. And I'm expecting big things from A-Rod in this matchup, especially with wide receiver DK Metcalf and this offense that looks like it's going to be a little bit better than what it was a year ago. Now, as far as the defense going for the New York Jets, I think they're going to take a step down, but they've been pretty consistent over the last few years. So that's going to be the big matchup here. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers versus this secondary for the New York Jets. You know Sauce Gardner's going to do his thing, but how are the other pieces in that secondary for the New York Jets going to be able to play against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who I think is going to be playing like he's on fire, guys, like it's blitz and you can't stop this guy because it's probably his last year playing football. So you know he's going to want to go out putting up 4,000, maybe 5,000 passing yards. You know he wants to get to at least 30, if not 40 touchdown passes this year, but we'll have to wait and see what happens because, guys, I don't trust this offense for the New York Jets. They're going to have to run the football if they want to be competitive at all. Wide receiver Garrett Wilson is going to be double teamed, I think, all the time, so that's going to be a big problem for them. And how well is quarterback Justin Fields going to play for the New York Jets? I'm just not sure. I think we're going to see some growing pains for new head coach Aaron Glenn in this matchup. So, guys, as far as looking at here with the key injuries of note to look at for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets, the Jets actually just lost another offensive lineman this week to a season-ending injury, possibly. We still got to wait to get reports back on that. And they also have another offensive tackle questionable. So look out for the offensive line here for the New York Jets. That could be a weak spot for them. But, guys, they're going up against a defensive line that will be without their first, one one of their draft picks, Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle, will be out. He's expected to miss a few weeks with an injury as well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Pittsburgh comes in as a 2.5-point favorite. I'm kind of surprised that that number is not a little bit higher. I would probably take the over on that in this one because, guys, Tim Reynolds Show, I'm rolling with the Pittsburgh Steelers in this matchup. I think they're going to get the victory over the New York Jets. And, hey, Aaron Rodgers is going to show the New Jersey people there in MetLife Stadium that, hey, I'm still that damn good. And we'll see how that plays out because I'll tell you what, the internet is not going to be good if the Steelers go in there and get their butts kicked by the Jets. That's going to be interesting. That would be like the Cowboys beating the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football tonight. You know what I mean? That would set the internet ablaze, if you know what I'm saying. So, guys, going up against our next matchup here, we got the New York Football Giants going up against the Washington Commanders. And, guys, the Commanders surprised a lot of teams last year, but they're not sleepwalking on anybody coming into this season. I think the Commanders are still going to be competitive, and we see they come in here as in this matchup as a 6.5-point favorite over the New York Giants. And, man, I feel bad for Giants fans, man, because I do like Dable as a head coach, but I just think that this team is probably going to struggle a little bit this year, especially to be consistent on offense. Although I do like the pass rushers there for this defense for the New York Giants. I think this defense is underrated, so look out for that to be a high point or maybe a good mark for the New York Giants coming up this year. I think their defense is going to be pretty stout. I just think the offense is going to struggle to score points. So looking at possibly some injury news of note to hear for both of these. Offensive tackle Andrew Thomas for the New York Giants is questionable heading into this matchup. And for the Washington Commanders, Noah Brown, wide receiver, will be questionable as well. And then Jonathan Jones, a cornerback that's supposed to help improve that secondary, is questionable. And so is defensive end Deorance Armstrong. So look out for that injury report there for the Commanders. Now, the Commanders are favored by a lot in this matchup. I think we got to look at Jaden Daniels going up against the secondary of the New York Giants that I think is just going to be a bad part of their squad. I don't know how good this secondary is really going to be for the New York Giants, so look for quarterback Jaden Daniels to pick them apart there. That's going to be my key matchup for them. And for the New York Giants, their offense has got to be able to run the football. That's right. They need to be able to use play action because that's what Russell Wilson thrives in, and be able to get the ball to Malik Neighbors, who's their biggest playmaker on offense. And look out for rookie running back Cam Scatteraboo. And I think he'll be a big improvement for this New York Giants offense and their running game. So they got to run the football. So that's my matchup there for the New York Giants offense against the Washington Commanders defense going up against their rush defense. All right, guys. So rolling with this one, guys. My pick here on Tim Reynolds Show, I'm going with the Washington Commanders. I think they're going to get the victory here to open up the season. And good luck to New York Giants fans this year. I think it's going to be a long season. All right, guys. Going up to our next matchup here. Let's see. We got 2, 4, 6 more matchups remaining here on Tim Reynolds. So thank you guys for hanging out on the channel. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to Tim Reynolds Show. It's week 1 of the 2025 NFL season, so you know what time it is. It's Tim Reynolds Show. Now let's go. Okay, our next matchup here, guys, we got the Tennessee Titans going one-on-one with the Denver Broncos. Now, they'll be in Mile High Stadium, where Denver is an 8.5-point favorite in this one. That's a lot of points in this one, guys. I think the Titans are going to upset a lot of people this year. I don't expect a lot of wins from the Titans, but I expect them to be in more games because their defense was competitive last year. They were in most games if their offense didn't turn the ball over all the time. So looking at the questionable injuries here possibly for both teams, we see for the Titans, they're looking at a couple of secondary pieces being questionable, including Ladarius Sneed and Kevin Wilson Jr., the safety. Also, their new offensive tackle, Dan Moore Jr., is also questionable heading into this matchup. And remember, the Titans will be without Tyjae Spears. The running back has been put on IR, and he'll miss at least the first 4 games of the season after being placed on IR. And then looking at the Denver Broncos, questionable is linebacker Dre Greenlaw. Now, they want this guy to make sure he heals up because this guy could be a big impact player for this Denver Broncos defense, but it looks like they'll also have a little less depth at the tight end position. Nate Adkins Watkins, the tight end, will be out for this game for the Denver Broncos. Now, guys, looking at this matchup here, I think the Denver Broncos wide receiving core is going to be the big matchup here, going up against the secondary of the Tennessee Titans. Now, the secondary for the Titans could be pretty good, but if Kevin Wilson Jr., the safety, and Ladarius Sneed, their top corner, are questionable and don't play in this matchup, well, then Bo Nix is going to pick them apart all day long. I expect a big game from tight end Evan Ingram, who I think is going to be the big impact player this upcoming season for the Denver Broncos offense. Call it a secret weapon. I think we could be looking at Jimmy Graham-like numbers in this Sean Payton's offense this year for the Denver Broncos. And guys, looking at the Tennessee Titans, they're going to be competitive. I think a lot more on offense. I think rookie quarterback Cam Ward is going to definitely light things up, but he starts out going up against one of the top defenses in the NFL. So looking out for that matchup is just how well can Cam Ward be able to survive and get the ball downfield in order for the Titans to have any shot in this matchup, because, man, this defense for the Denver Broncos is good all the way around. They're going to be one of the top defenses this year. Mark my words on that. You guys can quote me on that one. So, guys, Tim Reynolds Show is rolling with the Denver Broncos in this matchup. I got to go with the home squad here. I think defense is going to rule the day here in this matchup. So, I got to go with the Denver Broncos there in that matchup for week 1 of the 2025 NFL season. Thank you, guys, man. Only a few more games to go. Up next, we got the San Francisco 49ers going one-on-one with the Seattle Seahawks. And guys, this matchup sees San Francisco as a 2.5-point favorite. I'm kind of surprised by that. I would have thought it was at least a 3.5-point favorite coming into this one, but with all the question marks there in Seattle on how well their offense is going to play, we'll have to see what they're going to do, especially with some questionable wide receivers heading into this matchup for the Seattle Seahawks, including Kobe White, Derek Young, and Jake Bobo. So look out for that as far as questionable spots there for the Seattle Seahawks. But the San Francisco 49ers are also dealing with a lot of injuries as well. Jordan Watkins, the wide receiver, is questionable, and so is Jordan James, the running back. Jawan Jennings is questionable, but last reported he is expected to play. So we'll see how that plays out there for the San Francisco 49ers. Looking at key matchups here, I'm really wondering how the wide receiving core is going to step up against the Seattle Seahawks secondary and defense. And I guess you what, it'll be really, really good as far as this matchup here. So, guys, I'm rolling with the Seattle Seahawks to get the upset here. I think they're going to play a lot better on offense than people give them credit for, although I probably wouldn't pick Sam Darnold over Brock Purdy, but hey, I just think that the Seattle Seahawks are going to have a way better offense than people think, so I'm rolling with the upset here. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. Just trying to speed things up here, guys. Got to go give a shout out to the wife who just got home. Love you, baby. And guys, got to get ready for Thursday Night Football, guys. So we'll speed up through these next couple of matchups here. We got the Detroit Lions going one-on-one with the Green Bay Packers. Packers come in as a 1.5-point favorite, and this line has changed a bunch throughout the year, throughout the last couple of weeks, especially since the Micah Parsons trade. So now Green Bay comes in as the favorite, and in this matchup, guys, I think we got to look at Jared Goff going up against the secondary of the Green Bay Packers. I think Jared Goff can exploit that, but the offensive line has got to be able to protect Jared Goff, and they've got a couple of new starters along that offensive line, so something to keep an eye on for the Detroit Lions. And looking at the Green Bay Packers offense, they just need balance. They got to find a number one wide receiver in this league and add that to the really good running game that the Packers have. I think this is going to be an excellent game in this one, and Tim Reynolds Show is rolling with the Detroit Lions. That's right, guys. I'm going with the upset here. I think the Lions are going to come into Lambeau and prove once again that they're still contenders in the NFC. And look out for the Lions this year, man. Hey, I'm going with Detroit, baby. Let's go. And up next, guys, we got the Houston Texans going one-on-one with the Los Angeles Rams. And the Rams come in as a 3.5-point favorite in this matchup. And I think the Rams offense is going to look stellar. But I wonder how veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford is going to play, dealing with that back injury all training camp long. So that's going to be the matchup here. The health of quarterback Matthew Stafford going up against this Houston Texans defense that should be a top unit this upcoming year for the Houston Texans. Texans. Now, the Texans, their matchup, I think, is quarterback CJ Stroud trying to get the ball to his playmakers, but the running game is the big question mark with running back Joe Mixon missing an extended period of time. We don't know how long with his injury, so that means veteran running back Nick Chubb steps up into that starting running back role. So how well are they going to be able to run the football there in the Houston Texans offense? We'll have to wait and see. This LA Rams defense is underrated and should be able to get to the quarterback there of CJ Stroud, and that offensive line struggled to block for CJ Stroud last year, so just something to keep an eye out for. So guys, Tim Reynolds Show in this one, I'm rolling with the Los Angeles Rams. I think quarterback Matthew Stafford is going to be able to get enough points on the board to give the Rams the victory, and I'm looking for that Rams pass rush to be the big difference maker here in this matchup going up against that revamped Houston Texans offense. What's up, chat? Thank you guys for hanging out. And guys, only 2 more matchups to go. And we got Sunday Night Football in prime time, where we will see a possible AFC Championship matchup with the Baltimore Ravens going one-on-one with the Buffalo Bills there in Orchard Park. And this is the last year for Highmark Stadium there before the Buffalo Bills move into their new stadium. Excited for them in this one. Baltimore comes in as a 1.5-point favorite, and I really do like this Baltimore squad heading into this one. Now, looking at key matchups here in this particular game, I think we're looking at quarterback Josh Allen and that wide receiving core going up against this very, very good secondary now for the Baltimore Ravens, especially after adding all-pro cornerback Alexander from the Green Bay Packers, and not to mention Malachi Starks, the guy they drafted in the first round out of the University of Georgia. The safety there should most certainly help improve that secondary for the Baltimore Ravens. That was definitely one of the worst in the league near the end of the year last year. So going into this matchup, guys, I think that the Baltimore Ravens offense is going to have a key matchup going up against this pass rush for the Buffalo Bills. Can the Buffalo Bills get a pass rush on Lamar Jackson, try to keep him in the pocket so he's not going out making playmaking abilities like we know Lamar Jackson can do? And by the way, Lamar Jackson is one of my legit MVP candidates this upcoming year, so look out for that. But guys, Tim Reynolds Show is rolling with the Baltimore Ravens in this one. I think Baltimore will go into Buffalo and get the victory on Sunday Night Football. I'm rolling with Lamar Jackson. I'm rolling with this stellar defense for the Baltimore Ravens, getting the victory over the Buffalo Bills to start the season. And finally, guys, we've got primetime Monday Night Football, where we will see the Minnesota Vikings go one-on-one with the Chicago Bears in an NFC North divisional matchup. And what an incredible match this is going to be. Minnesota comes in as a 1.5-point favorite in this matchup, and I'm looking at quarterback Caleb Williams. How well will he be able to progress in this new Ben Johnson offense, the new head coach there for the Chicago Bears? And how well will quarterback J.J. McCarthy be able to play here in what essentially is his rookie season this year as the starter for the first time for the Minnesota Vikings? That's going to be the key matchups here in this one. And Tim Reynolds Show is rolling with the Minnesota Vikings to get the victory here on Monday Night Football. That's my pick for Monday night in primetime. I think we're going to see Kevin O'Connell be able to coach circles around Ben Johnson, because I think Ben Johnson has a lot of growing and a lot of developing left to do with the Chicago Bears offense. So that's why I'm rolling with the Minnesota Vikings. Look out for Justin Jefferson to have a big game in this one as well. And guys, this has been Tim Reynolds Show's 2025 NFL Week 1 picks and selections. Thank you guys for hanging out here on the chat. All right, guys, I got to step out. I got to go make sure I take care of the wifey who's done so much to help me support my channel. Shout out to her, and I cannot believe the football season is here. So shout out to every single one of you guys hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. I appreciate all the love and support, and make sure you guys check out more of my NFL content and news throughout the 2025 NFL season, and my live play-by-plays, not only for all Tampa Bay Buccaneers games this season, but big NFL matchups on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football throughout the NFL season here in 2025. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Peace out, everybody, and enjoy Thursday Night Football, primetime football. The NFL is back, baby. Let's go. It's Tim Reynolds Show. Peace out, everybody.